Hello friends, welcome to my channel. So in this video we will be discussing about the page orientation. So before this video I have already made two videos on page margin and page column. So if you have not watched these two videos, I will be giving the link in the description box. You can check out that two videos from that link. So basically this is a page setup option. Orientation is a page setup option. So what is the difference between portrait and landscape orientation? Portrait option is used when we don't need much width of the document. In the portrait orientation, you can see that the height of the document is large as compared to width of the document. Let me show you in print preview. So in this case, you can see that the height of the document is large as compared to width of the document. But in our document, whatever document we are preparing, we have the situation that the width of the data is more as compared to height of the data. Okay, let me change the orientation. I am changing the orientation from portrait to landscape. So now as I change the orientation from portrait to landscape, you can see that the width of the document has been increased and the height of the document has been decreased. So it really depends upon the content. Okay, let's suppose if you are making one table and it has many number of columns, so all that columns are not fit on the document if we are using this portrait orientation. So we can switch from portrait to landscape. So now initially I am using portrait orientation. So to add the content in this document, first of all I am using the random function. I have already told you about this function. This random function helps you to add dummy text on your document. Let's suppose I am giving 3 paragraphs and in each paragraph I need 3 lines. Okay, the first parameter defines how many paragraphs you need in your text, and second parameter determines how many number of lines are going to be there in your one single paragraph. Let's press enter. So you can see that it has created a dummy data on the document. Let's try to decrease the size of this document. I am selecting the entire document and from here I can reduce the size of the document. Okay, right now I am in a home tab. So this is the option in the font. We have an option of changing the size of the content on your document. Let's suppose I am giving 12. So you can see the content size has been reduced. Okay, so now let's suppose I am making one document in which I have to record the data of the students. Okay, so I want to store the students data in one particular table. So I am now going to add one table. In the upcoming videos we will be discussing this option table in a very detailed manner, but for the right now just take some rows and columns. Okay, so we can randomly select number of rows and columns from this table option. I am using these many rows and columns and I am clicking on it. So it has created a one table for me. Now let's try to add the student data in this table. For example, serial number, student name, mother name, father name, Aadhaar card, contact number, contact number, address, and let's suppose email ID. So this is my table, and I am going to store this much data of the student in this table. So let's try to increase the size of the table, because as you can see, if I have to add address of a one particular student, this much space is not enough. Let me add boundary code. Let's suppose the student name is Pooja, and mother name is, let's suppose, ABC, and father name is, let's suppose, I am just taking the random value. And let's suppose Aadhaar card, I am having this Aadhaar card number. Let's suppose any contact number we are adding in this value. Okay, now I am going to add any address. Okay, and let's now try to add email ID. Let's suppose I am adding abbc@gmail.com. So if you see that the structure of the table has been disturbed. Why? Because some fields require more cell size and some fields require less cell size. So we have to adjust this table into this document, and we want to assign the size to cell it requires. For example, Aadhaar card, it is of 12 digits, but its cell size is very less, so we have to increase its size this way. Okay, and if I want to adjust this table on this document, I can make use of these values. Okay, now here this much is enough here. Now let's suppose I want to reduce the address cell this way, but if we look at it, this doesn't seems good, because Aadhaar card is not coming properly in a one line, it is coming on multiple lines. Okay, and as we have increased the height, width and height of this document, still we are not satisfied with the way our data is looking in this table. So what can we do? We want to increase the space of this document so that we can adjust this table on this document in an elegant manner. Okay, so what we can do, we can, if we change the orientation from portrait to landscape, you can see the width of the document has been increased, right? When we were in the portrait mode, we had no more space if we want to adjust the size of this table on this document. But as I changed my orientation from portrait to landscape, now you can see we have a multiple, the width wise space has been increased. So now I can easily adjust my table. Let's suppose the first field is serial number. Okay, we don't need much space for this field, so I am reducing the width of this column. Okay, as I have to enter the student name, what can be the maximum width I might require? I am just increasing the little size of this. Okay, now mother name, I am increasing the width here. Now father name, I am increasing the width. Next we have Aadhaar card, I am increasing the width of Aadhaar card. Next we have contact number, I am increasing its width. Next I am having address. Next I am having email ID. So as you can see, we have increased the width of each cell in this table. In the portrait it was not possible, because in the portrait mode the height was more as compared to the width. But in orientation we have increased the width of the document, and we can easily extend the size of all cells so that our data can look more beautiful. Okay, so now let me change this orientation from landscape to portrait. So you can see this way data is coming in the portrait mode, and if I switch from portrait to landscape, you can see this way our data is presented. Okay, now let's see in the print preview. If I am choosing the portrait orientation, you can see how it is going to be printed if I give print command for this document. Now you can see this email ID is not coming properly on this document, and if I change my orientation from portrait to landscape, now you can see no data is cut, all the data is appearing on the document. So this is the benefit of using orientation, landscape orientation, when your width when your data require more width as compared to the height. Even if you require one more column here, you can add one more column after this email ID. Let's suppose I will be discussing that how we can create table and how we can add rows and columns in the upcoming videos, but right now let's focus on the landscape orientation. Let's suppose I want to add one more column after email ID. So I will be keeping my cursor on the last cell, and I will be using the option insert right. So one more column has been added. Okay, one more column has been added. So as you can see, we have add one more column after email ID. Let's suppose I want to add family ID here. Okay, we can easily add family ID, and we can also control the cell size from the window layout. As I am choosing the table, okay, as I am choosing the table, I am just entering into the layout tab, and here in the family ID I can reduce the width and height of the cell. So now you can see that the family ID cell is coming out of the page boundary. So I have to fix its width. Okay, so how I can fix the width of the cell size? From here I can reduce the width. You can see now this field is coming inside the page boundary. So this way our orientation helps us if the width of the if your data require more width as compared to height. Now let me give you one more example related to portrait and landscape orientation. Now let's go to the portrait. Let's suppose I have insert one shape here. So in the insert tab we have one option, shapes. I am going into the shapes. Let's suppose I am selecting this shape rectangle. Okay, I am drawing that shape rectangle here. But as I click on the shape, I can see this new tab, format. In this format tab we can provide formatting for the shapes. Okay, we can provide formatting for the shapes. Let's suppose I want to insert a one picture in this shape. I am going here, shape fill, then I am clicking on picture. Let's suppose I want to add this picture in this shape. I am clicking on this picture and now click on insert. So this picture has been inserted. I want to adjust this kind of pictures 3 in a one particular row. What I mean to say, I want these 3 pictures in a one particular row. So what can I do? I can click on this picture and I am pressing Ctrl D. As I pressed Ctrl plus D, it is creating a duplicate copy for this image. I am keeping this image at the right hand side of the first image. Okay, so similarly I want 3 this kind of pictures in a one row. I am again creating duplicate of it by using Ctrl plus D, and I am inserting in the right of the second image. But you can see I am in a portrait mode. These 3 pictures are not getting arranged in a one particular row. So what can be the solution? Because I don't want to change the width and height of this shape. I want to keep this only this width and height of the image. I don't want to decrease or increase it. So what can be the solution for this? Let's try if I change the orientation from portrait to landscape. Now you can see that the width of the document has been increased and all the three pictures has come up in a one particular row only. If I see this kind of data in portrait, this way you can see your data. Many of your data is out of the boundary of the document. So this way we can see that how landscape orientation help us when we want to adjust our data in a one particular document, because in orientation we have a more width as compared to height of the document. So it really depends upon the document, it depends upon the requirement of your document. Okay, accordingly we will be choosing the orientation option. Let me check if I want to print this document, how it is going to be appearing. Let's suppose I am going here print, then print per view. So this way your document, this document is coming out if you will be printing this document. So I hope you have got the basic idea of the difference between portrait and landscape orientation. So if you like my video, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for watching my video.